All right, film freaks, it's midnight once again, vampire hour on the night of the blood moon. We've been talking about the mixing of genres and how the vampire myth lends itself to that. Vampire horror comedy, vampire horror blaxploitation, vampire western, sci-fi, samurai, post-apocalyptic, dark fantasy anime. Tonight's film is at the nexus of two traditions. One, the vampire film with all its literary, pop cultural mythology, and the mafia or mob film with all of its literary and pop cultural mythology. It could have been a story about a powerful vampire clan led by Count Vito Corleone, whose son Michael is a reluctant vampire who ends up going to war against other vampire families and becoming more bloodthirsty and powerful than his father. Or it could have been all my life I wanted to be a vampire. It was neither of those things. Tonight it's an undercover cop in a mob story, a deep cover story like Donnie Brasco, which would come later, with a vampire femme fatale and a mob captain turned not informant but bloodsucker, where if you want to get made, you have to be bitten. Now, Rick, you love Scorsese. You love mob films. You dig vampire shit. What say you about John Landis's Innocent Blood?
I watched this movie yesterday afternoon, my day off, and I was just sitting with it for a while, trying to figure out what it is that I was watching. And part of me was disappointed because I knew that there was a better film here, but ultimately what it came down to one thing: for the film itself, taking all that into account, my love of mob films, my love of Scorsese, Godfather, even the actors in this film, that many of them you would see about a year or so later, 4 or 5 years later in The Sopranos. I just felt like this is a perfectly serviceable film. A forgettable, serviceable, at times fun and funny film, but for the most part a film that doesn't really hit where it needs to. And then that started to make me think about the crossing the streams of genres. The horror film, in this case, the vampire film, with drama in the mob film, and how that would force itself into comedy. And I started to realize that I can't name a successful horror comedy hybrid. We talked about what we do in the shadows last week. That one missed the boat for me. But then you see films like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is a lot of fun but not scary. Comedy, if you blend comedy with horror, comedy is going to win, because by the nature of not taking comedy too seriously, you pardon the I guess it's a pun, I'm not sure, but you defang the power of the horror.
Yeah.
And then it hit me. There's only one film that I've ever seen that played comedy and horror and did both equally well and was intentionally funny and somewhat frightening, and that was Fright Night. I look back and I think Fright Night was as scary as it was funny. It had its moments. It depended on the jump cuts and the jump scares, and but it also had a devilishly charismatic Chris Sarandon as the vampire in that film. And he had a charm and a charisma, and he didn't overplay the hand. he didn't play it as if he was in a vampire movie. He played a vampire with everything that you could imagine that would entail. The lustfulness, the charm, the sexiness. It was all there. I look at Innocent Blood and I see, really, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I have a feeling you really dislike this movie, and I don't know if you had seen the film, hadn't seen the film. I don't know what your relationship with the film is, but I have a feeling you didn't care for it that much. I didn't hate it, but it's a forgettable film. The only thing that I can say that I would really recommend about this film, Robert Loggia comes to party.
Yeah, he does.
And he's hamming it up, and he's playing the gangsters that he's played. I think John Landis drops the ball and doesn't deliver on what he... And Landis is an interesting director because he's tried horror comedy before. And I know we're definitely in the minority on An American Werewolf in London, but I don't think that works outside of the special effects, which are still today, 40 years later, amazing. This doesn't have that, but this has moments that are really fun and funny. But Landis doesn't lean into it. He doesn't build on that. He doesn't take it to an absurd level. It doesn't help that Anthony LaPaglia, who's an actor that I really like in a lot of other films, seems to be sleepwalking through this film with either no direction or no idea of the character that he's supposed to be playing as a cop undercover in the mafia, who now has to chase down the mafia and has to bullshit himself into finally believing that there is a vampire involved in all this, and that Loggia's character has been turned into a vampire. So I'm really interested because I know I didn't pick this movie to watch. And I know we were looking for vampire movies. Although that's not to say that I didn't want to watch this movie. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a long time. And I was surprised at. I mean, this is a pretty star-heavy cast. Angela Bassett, Luis Guzman, Loggia. Don Rickles is very funny in it. I think Don Rickles is very funny in it. Anna Period from what's the film? The French film that La Femme Nikita. Yeah, she's the lead, and very sexy, very beautiful in the film. But this is a fun, forgettable film. I can't recommend it on this. I can't recommend Innocent Blood in the sense that, oh, you're going to have a great time and you're going to want to go back to this over and over again. But I can recommend it as you've got nothing else to do. You want to spend a couple hours watching something that's, kind of stupid, kind of fun, has a few funny moments, and Loggia just hamming it up. I think that's worth giving it a watch. Watching it again, that's on you.
For me, I think I view the film because I don't really like. I don't hate the film. I don't love the film.
It's just there, right? It's just there.
I mean, it's there, but it's there in the sense that, like, if you go to a neighborhood, you find out about this neighborhood that has, like, in this 2-block radius, or even let's say on the same block, it has a bookstore.
Yeah.
It has a video stores. It has a video store. Mm-hmm. It has a pizza parlor.
Yeah. There's Miss Pac-Man in the corner, like so it's like 90, it's 89, 88, somewhere around there, yeah.
You've got all this shit, yeah, and you want to just make a day of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but in a movie, and it's this mix of, it's a fusion. It's this thing of, okay, vampire with mafia, does that work?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like pineapple on pizza. Some people are like, of course. Other people are like, fuck you. do not.
Yeah.
I'm down. I mean, I like pineapple. I'm down with pineapple on pizza. So
And I'm like, fuck you. But, okay.
that's
I get
your
you.
bad.
Yeah.
But for me, it's almost like a, I'm just looking at it as this historical just piece that is interestingly, it's interestingly in this place of mob, in this like film history of mob movies. And I looked at it more as a mob movie than actually a vampire movie, even though it's a vampire movie that has mob characters in it. But I looked at it as a mob movie that had vampire characters, even though Anne Pariot is this main vampire Marie chick. But I was just interested in like looking at the pedigree of all the different cast and really looking at it as like, okay, John Landis is this student of cinema that wanted to make this interesting like experiment. I saw that he described it supposedly as a Hammer film, as if it had been directed by Scorsese.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Yeah. And
I read that quote too.
I've seen this film. I'd say had been years ago since I'd seen it. Last time I saw it, I rented it. I paired it with the remake with Paul Schrader's fucking remake of Cat People.
Okay.
So that was just its own fucking weird pairing. That kind of makes sense. So to me, it's just interesting to look at the cast and be like, fuck, like this movie was influenced by The Godfathers, by fucking Goodfellas. But it's also interesting how potentially, you know, there are characters in here, not characters, but actors who ended up in Sopranos, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Don Rickles has a prominent role in Casino that's kind of similar to this, which would be in a few years. The Donnie Brasco story of FBI agent Joe Pistone comes out. That's a few years later. John Landis's history with horror comedy and just horror in general, just thriller by itself. The footage of the Hammer horror stuff with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, Todd Browning's Dracula. The cast, they all, not all, but like Robert Loggia, that's fucking Scarface, that's Prizzi's Honor, that's it. In a few years it'll be David Lynch's Lost Highway. You've got Don Rickles in a couple years, a similar role in Casino.
But also Rickles' connection to Sinatra.
Correct.
Vegas,
yeah, exactly.
The mob, all of that.
Right.
You know,
I
mean, Don Rickles' history in and of itself.
Mob adjacent.
Yeah.
Fucking Goodfellas too. Chaz Palminteri, A Bronx Tale.
Which would be like 2 years later, I think.
Yeah. 1 or 2 years later.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Luis Guzman, Carlito's Way. Elaine Kagan, looking like Joan Crawford.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Goodfellas. But then it also has Tom Savini. Frank Oz. It has like these
cameos.
If you know.
Yeah.
These cameos. Sam Raimi. These little horror cameos. Angela Bassett, who's horribly underused.
Yeah, but it's really before. I mean, you're absolutely right. Horribly underused, but it was before anybody knew who Angela Bassett was.
Who the fuck she was?
She hadn't done. I think she would do Malcolm X later that year. or she might have already done it. It was in the can, but not having come out.
Not out.
Yeah, but she hadn't done What's Love Got to Do with It yet, which is the thing that would catapult her into stardom. And unfortunately, she's never been used to her ultimate. She's great,
Right.
and she's never been used well enough.
And interestingly, she in a couple years she would do Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's that connection as well. But you're
so
also
it's
missing
just
Dario Argento is in it.
Oh yeah, he's like he's in the ambulance, right?
Yeah, he's the paramedic, and Michael Ritchie is in it. So that's a typical thing that Landis does throughout his movies. He puts famous directors in a lot of his movies. You've seen Cronenberg show up, Terry Gilliam show up. Frank Oz has done a number of cameos in his films. Costa Graves, I think, has done a cameo in his films. I mean, Landis calls in favors. It's his little homage to Alfred Hitchcock. So make that what you want of it. I mean, there's that horror connection as well. So, I think Landis is an interesting director, but here's the problem with Landis for comedy. Landis needs big, broad comedy. And I don't think this is a big, broad comedy type film. I think this is more of a subtle type comedy where you can really make, if you go full on, not parody so much or spoof, definitely not parody or spoof, but if you allow the comedy to come out of the ridiculousness of this people and of these people, this cast, this group of characters, and you let Loggia play it straight, which is Loggia's playing it straight. Loggia's not. It's so strange because he's hamming it up because it's the material, but Loggia's playing this character the way he always plays every character: high intensity, angry, dangerous. Robert Loggia always seemed to me like a real asshole that they just captured on film. Now, maybe he was a sweet, nice guy. Maybe he was grandfatherly, but I don't get that vibe off of him. I always got the vibe that he was a fucking asshole, but he was good at what he did. And if you wanted that level of Robert Loggia, even into his 60s and 70s, seemed to be a dangerous man. When he pulls that kid out of the car in David Lynch's Lost Highway and beats the shit out of him, you can imagine that Robert Loggia would do that. That's not far from the reality that you create in imagining a Robert Loggia scenario. That's why I think this is a missed opportunity, although I enjoy what he's doing in the film. He seems like a guy that didn't get to do comedy a whole lot, and when he did, he was going to go for it. But it was still within. He still had a level of respect for the character that he was playing, and needed to do it within the parameters of that. Because it could have been a much broader performance. It could have been a lot of mugging for the camera, and he doesn't do that. I think it's a very good performance. I think it's the best thing about the film, and I think it's the thing that makes you want to watch it. And it's that moment where he's that first 15-20 minutes after he's been turned and he doesn't know he's a vampire, he just thinks things are fucked up, and he doesn't, why am I in the hospital? That was making me laugh. That was making me laugh inside. And then Frank Oz's reaction as the medical examiner. There's a lot of shit there that works. I just think that the film itself can't sustain the story that it's creating, and it stops being so much fun.
It's a tough a vampire comedy by itself.
Yeah,
is tough. You didn't pick this one. There were other options, obviously. You might have thrown out there Once Bitten. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
The Jim Carrey film?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. But there's also George Hamilton as Dracula in Love at First Bite. I
Yeah.
remember
I
that
mean,
film.
there's a
Yeah,
bunch.
yeah, oh yeah.
There's fucking Vamp. There's which is interesting. Just Grace Jones, iconic weird shit. There's fucking Dracula Dead and Loving It. There's the Eddie Murphy Vampire in Brooklyn. There's I haven't seen it. That new Renfield one
Nick Cage.
With Nicolas Cage. I don't. I mean, I don't. Me personally, I don't think I'm gonna be. And I've seen most of the ones that we mentioned, except for I haven't seen the Renfield one. And it's been years since I've seen any of those. But I was never like I wasn't fucking rolling around on the floor, fucking dying, fucking watching them. You know what I mean? It's just it's like Vampire Light. You know what I mean? That's what it becomes. Whereas this same shit, I wasn't fucking. Oh my god! If I don't fucking laugh, I'm gonna kick the fucking screen. I'm gonna be all fucking pissed off. I just feel like I didn't have expectations that were as crazy for this because I had already seen it and I don't know. I don't know if it was just I don't know what it is, but I didn't. It's good. It's a good looking film. It's kind of a mess. I accept it, and in that sense, it's kind of like not to the degree that you're like, it's just there. I don't give a fuck, but kind of. You know what I mean? You said the film before. Hold that thought. But you said the Fright Night is the one that you think is the top of the line vampire comedy, right?
Yeah,
horror comedy in general.
Would you consider the John Carpenter film funny? It has funny moments, but I wouldn't call it a comedy.
Vampires?
Yeah.
No, I mean that's a vampire fucking western, basically. But no,
it is. It's a vampire western. That's right. It is.
I wouldn't think of it as like, oh my god, it's funny. You know? Why?
Because that's the only other one that I can think that has a level of humor in it that could straddle that world that we're talking about. Because James Woods has some funny moments in it, but I think it's comic relief more than trying to be a comedy. That's more of a vampire horror western, and Carpenter leans into the horror. There are moments of that are kind of scary. There's a darkness in Carpenter's film that isn't. I think part of the problem here is that, like, I mean, look at Landis's track record, or look at Landis's not track record, but because if you get track record, it goes off the rails. But
I'm
sorry.
It's more horrible than
exactly.
Funny.
Yeah. But if you look at his film,
I mean, tell everyone why. If they're not up on it.
For those who don't know, for those who don't remember the 80s, in 1983, he, along with Joe Dante, George Miller, Steven Spielberg, and was another director, I can't remember who, they came together to make an anthology of basically each took an episode of the old Rod Serling Twilight Zone show, and they adapted 4 episodes for the screen. Spielberg did a really obvious Spielberg thing. George Miller did the best, which was a remake of Terror at 1,000 Feet, the Shatner film with John Lithgow playing the Shatner role. There was another film, I can't remember what it was in it, but Landis's film was with Victor Mature, I think. Was that his name? Was it Victor Mature? God, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was playing a racist who finds himself transported into you always see him as who he is, but everybody else sees him as a black man or as an Asian or as this or that, and he encounters the Klan, but at one scene he's in Vietnam, and he's like running through the jungle, and but basically on that set, and Landis was known for pushing safety to the limit on in a lot of cases, and being a very some say negligent director, or at least somebody who wasn't necessarily well, you know, who wasn't safety focused in an era of cocaine use by the barrel. Now, I'm not to say that that had anything to do with this, but you know, everything plays into everything, and that's the legend of a lot of this shit. Anyway, a helicopter in the scene, I think the rotor came too close to some wires. It went out of control, and it decapitated Victor Mature. Not Victor Mature. I can't remember what his fucking name is. The lead actor and two young children, two young Vietnamese extras, and this was a huge problem. This was what do you call it? This was a
fucking scandal. It's a fucking outrage.
It was a huge scandal. It was a huge scandal.
Worker violation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they went for years with this thing. Vic Morrow, that's right. Vic Morrow. Victor Mature is a different actor. Vic Morrow was decapitated. These two children were decapitated, and it was a case that lasted almost a decade in court, and Landis was finally found not liable. I think. I'm not sure if he was found not guilty or not liable, but his career never really recovered after that. He was never given the opportunities that he had basically built up to after successes like Animal House and the Blues Brothers. And the Blues Brothers had its own series of nightmare action sequences that probably, like, a lot of people say it's amazing that nobody died on that film. But this is one of those situations where either it was a freak accident or it was negligence. Nobody's really sure, and you can have arguments from a lot of different sides. But that is the legend of Landis, and what I'm arguing here, if you look at his filmography, the comedies are big, brash, in your face, no nuance, no subtlety comedies. Animal House, The Blues Brothers, Trading Places, Coming to America. There's very little quiet downtime.
Three Amigos,
yeah. I mean, if he can shout it, Landis is going to shout. That's the thing about it. And I like his films. I like all of those films that I just mentioned. I like those films. I enjoy them. I enjoy Three Amigos. I enjoy Coming to America and the Blues. I love the Blues Brothers, Trading Places, Animal House. But he is not. I think this film needs a little more subtlety. I think it needs nuance. I think it needs to be able to take a step back and breathe. And he doesn't do that. It's just he's beating the shit out of you, almost from the beginning to the end. And I don't think the material. Not even so much the material, but I don't think the genre is served well by that kind of brash, kind of abrasive handling of a story. So,
what if Scorsese had done it? What do you think of that?
Well, I think Scorsese could have delivered something. I think Scorsese is a hell of a lot funnier than a lot of people give him credit for. If you watch Casino, if you watch Goodfellas is a comedy up until things start spiraling out of control. So he blends it really. What Scorsese does with Goodfellas is interesting because you're laughing, because you're having a great time with these guys, not realizing exactly how fucked up they are, so that when the switch happens, you don't even realize you're watching the same movie. It's a lot like life. I'm having a good time. Oh shit! Now things just got real, and there are consequences to this kind of living. I think Scorsese. I think they would have had to made a bit of a better script. They would have had to rewrite it. But I think there's a lot here that Scorsese could have delved into. I mean, you can draw the parallels between the mafia and bloodsuckers, the way they suck the life out of a community. So that's the obvious handling of the material, and you could do that while at the same time positioning it so you make the mafia and now the monster's a little bit more endearing, because there's an attraction to that. That's always been Scorsese's thing, is that throughout Goodfellas, you like these guys. It's the shock of seeing how bad it gets before you realize these are not people that I should like.
Right.
You know? I mean, it's like that. And that's typical of mafia type situation. I don't know how many people that I sat and watched The Sopranos with who really loved Tony Soprano, and I'm like, you're missing the point of this. David Chase is not trying to get you to say this is a good guy. Tony Sopranos is an evil motherfucker. He's a horrible human being. He's a sociopath, and he's willing to do whatever the fuck he needs to do in order to achieve his very singular and selfish desires. But everybody, like, as they're wont to do, a lot of times we see the glamour, the glitz, the fun, and that's why we want to be part of it. But also, I mean, there's something about being able to grab somebody and beat the shit out of them. I've talked about this a lot of times with people. I was like, I would love to beat the shit out of about 14 people every other fucking day. You can't do it. But it's like, you live vicariously through these movies, and that's the thing that makes you, that's one of the selling points of this movie. And if he had had, and I'm not going to say Anthony LaPaglia is a bad actor or a weak actor, because he's a very good actor. I've seen him in things that he's very good in.
Yeah, just not right for this.
Well, he doesn't seem like he seems like he's showing up like, I can't believe I'm making this fucking movie. And that's the thing, and that's the way I read it. There's no investment in his character. He doesn't seem to be reacting to the situation as you imagine somebody would react to it. He's very Buster Keaton, stone-faced. There's no excitement. There's no shock. But if you're going to do that, go full on Keaton, where you're watching Keaton going, what that, is there anything going on in Keaton's face? Is there anything going on in Keaton's mind? That's not what Anthony LaPaglia seems to just not like making this film. And that's not what this movie needs. Anna Perriot, is that how you pronounce her name? Perriot?
Perriot.
She does what she needs to do. She's very sexy, but she's also very sweet and caring. And when you start to see that she's going out of her way only to kill horrible men, I think he could have done more with that as well. I like the fact that she comes with a shotgun in order to cover her tracks. I think that's a brilliant idea. And the coroner is like, yeah, well, this guy's short about 5 quarts of blood. There should be a lot more blood here. What do you do in a situation like that? That's where a lot of the fun in a movie like this is asking questions that have answers you don't want to believe are true. And you never get that. You never get that point from Anthony LaPaglia's character that I'm dealing with a vampire. And I'm not supposed to believe in vampires. Vampires are bullshit.
This movie's bullshit.
Yeah.
It almost is like with the Island of Dr. Moreau, the stories about fucking
Richard
Val
Stanley.
Kilmer saying like, they
yeah.
look fake, they look fucking fake. not buying it. Whereas full on fucking Marlon Brando is like, I'm gonna put a fucking ice bucket on my head and fucking live this shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, Loggia's got the ice bucket on his head. Loggia's living it. He's having a great time with it. I think it's a performance that deserves a better picture, and that's the problem, because the mafia are all behaving like mafia guys. They're Tony Sirico that's an early version of Polly Walnuts. David Proval, you would see that character later as Richie in The Sopranos, but also in Mean Streets, where he played a much younger character than that.
Yeah.
Chaz Palminteri, what a scumbag!
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
he comes off as a fucking dirtbag scum, and it's fun. And then you have these like goofy Tony Lip as one of his mob bosses.
Minions?
What's up?
Minions?
Yeah, one of his minions.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been like Scorsese doing After Hours, basically.
Yeah.
This weird fucking night comedy.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking even someone like a fucking Abel Ferrara.
I don't know. There's nothing I've ever seen in Ferrara's films that would tell me comedy.
That's true.
Even though I laugh hysterically at Bad Lieutenant, even though I'm not supposed to. But
that's right.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of gets to. What we were talking about with what we do in the shadows.
Yeah.
It's you can laugh, but there's certain shit that's so dark and so fucked up that like you do laugh.
Yeah.
And Bad Lieutenant definitely fucking has its moments where you're just like, God damn, and you're laughing, and you kind of feel bad, but at the same time, it's like yesterday we were stuck in traffic, and Leslie Brie is a bad influence on me. It's her fault.
Always,
and we saw like some tow trucks passing by, and I was like, for all of this shit, if it's gonna be an accident, it better be good.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But she laughed a little bit, you know what I mean? And so did I. And I'm just kind of like, I'm fucking kidding, like, you know that. But like, somewhere deep down in the heart of every fucking human being, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, is that fucking question. And that's why looky-loo-ism is a thing, because people want to know what the fuck happened. Like, oh fuck, like, hopefully no one got hurt, but did someone die? You know?
Yeah.
Like, you're out there fucking looking. If I would say, like, at the top of the show, do you know who fucking died? Do you know what fucking people would be like, who the fuck died? Who died?
Yeah.
Did Don Rickles die? Who the fuck is Don Rickles? Did Scorsese die? Scorsese died, but get this. How he died. And then everyone's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But then if you go, he died in his sleep, and everyone's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, he choked on a fucking piece of cannoli. Like, then it's like, it's not funny, but it's fucked up. And it's kind of like, there's a logic to that.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, people want the story.
Yeah.
And the story has levels. It has absurdity. It has nuance to it. It's gonna take you in a direction that maybe you weren't ready for. all of that plays into it. All of it is necessary in order to sell something, and I think that's the thing that's missing here, is that it doesn't go far enough. It doesn't play with that the way it should, and the elements are there.
Ferrera can do mafia and he can do vampire. I mean, who knows if it would have been funny? But fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, I think it would have been interesting, and everything else, keeping it the same. Do this mix of what he did with what he would end up doing with the funeral, with what he did with the addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's this mafia mixed with because what if it's not a comedy? What if it's not a comedy, but it's just vampire mixed with mafia? Does it work? Can it work?
It can. I think it would have probably been a better film. I think it would have been to go into that world. I mean, you got to get past well, that's a ridiculous idea, but then again, it's like like how much shit that we watch comes out. I mean, if we go back to the Book of Eli that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, that's a ridiculous idea.
I mean, so is the idea that a fucking shark is gonna be like, I'm gonna go. I want to fuck with these three guys, and I want to fuck with this little town.
Yeah.
That's a classic example of something that has its drama, thriller, horror, and comedy.
Yeah. And a completely unrealistic situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and that scumbag mayor, like, is in our current fucking government right now. That guy's like, my kid's in the water too.
Yeah.
But it has moments where you're laughing.
Sure.
And it also has moments where it has a jump scare. It has fucking, the we're gonna need a bigger boat is just this fucking in that lie as, oh, we should have had shotguns for this shit or whatever the fuck they said. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Don Rickles is great. I mean, the cast is good.
Yeah,
for the most part. I think
it's a very good cast.
I think you're right about LaPaglia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his deal is. Luis Guzman is good doing his jam, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good, like I said earlier. I can sit and watch it, and I'm like, cool. The only thing is that I'm not super laughing.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. I'm not super laughing, and I'm not super scared. So, it's not. There's a couple of good laughs here. When Loggia comes out of when Loggia awakens in the morgue, and he doesn't realize that he's a vampire, and he's pissed off in the Loggia way, and he's running through the halls, and they're chasing him. I thought that was funny. That made me laugh. Frank Oz just befuddled and bewildered, and you're not supposed to lose. Is that losing one on the table? Is that's fucked up?
Yeah.
I mean, you got one job, man. And you got all that shit, but they don't. I just don't think Landis trusted the comedy enough to go full on with that, because I think that's his. I think that's his strength, and I think that was the same problem with American Werewolf in London, whereas that he's a director that depends too much on special effects when he's working in a medium that he's not as adept at. Because if you watch American Werewolf in London, what you remember is that transformation scene, and it's great. It's still great. 40 years later, that transformation scene is probably the best transformation scene ever committed to film. Still, to this day. It looks
It's
incredible.
damn good.
Yeah.
It's damn good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and especially when you know that it's Rick Baker with nothing before it to go off of. He created that thing almost entirely with with extensions and just knowing that whole thing was practical, and Griffin Dunn had to get into that suit, and they had to cut out the floor the way they did. But then you have Landis here trying to top himself with Loggia on fire, walking towards Marie and Tony, and just spouting off all this shit. And that was another problem that I had with the film, is that there was no parameters in which there were no traditional parameters in which you kill a vampire.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was like break their neck, shoot them in the head.
Mm-hmm. This is like zombie shit. No, it's vampires are sunlight, and I think fire could kill a vampire, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the thing. Yeah. You stake them, you sunlight, you fucking you cut their heads off,
mm-hmm.
Different shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, I mean, it's an open genre. You can fuck with all this stuff. You can reject what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It just ends. It's like at the end of the day, it's like, what are you doing with it? Like, that's all that really counts.
Yeah.
And I argue that horror, like especially something like a vampire film, I don't think necessarily there's a difference between like Texas Chainsaw Massacre scary
mm-hmm.
versus something horror like a vampire film is not necessarily going to be scary. Like, you're not going to be like, oh fuck, like it has other shit to it. I think horror is, a lot of it is just, and I've said this before, I describe it as like you're sitting in that vibe of, a lot of times it's the aesthetic of horror, more so than feeling like feeling all this tension where something's going to jump out at you. I don't think necessarily that fucking these universal classics have me feeling like, oh my fucking god, like turn on the lights,
mm-hmm.
please. But they're horror classics because the subject matter is like horror.
But there's also the fact that the times change as well, because like, what are vampires scary to us, or okay, what's scarier to you? A vampire movie, let's say Abel Ferrara's The Addiction, which is darker, mm-hmm. and is it the vampire story or is it the addiction story that's scarier? In other movies,
yeah, was it like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer?
That's the one I was going to bring up.
Mm-hmm. It's more horrifying, yeah, than Dracula.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's different. It's different things. It's like the idea of from the vampire, like the hunger. I mean, not the hunger, but well, that too. But the addiction specifically.
Yeah.
That's horrifying in the sense that now you're fucking like in this predicament, and you're not even dead. So it's from the inside, mm-hmm. like from inside the monster. The monster's perspective is scary. So it's like in modern times it's these different ideas, and even like a Jack the Ripper, is scary. But then some asshole's going to be like, well, I'm not a prostitute, so I'm not afraid of Jack the Ripper because that's who he's going after. Yeah. Whereas Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it's like, that's fucking ultimately, you can keep one-upping and saying like, mm-hmm. oh, well, blah, 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 and then this and this and this, and but you have a body, motherfucker, like, you're next. So it's all contextual.
Well, if you bring that up, it's contextual. What about the documentary on Richard Ramirez? Number one,
yeah, well, yeah, that's like Henry. It's serial killer mm-hmm. shit. That's mm-hmm. scary as fuck because and especially like
But
Jack the Ripper.
it's also a history that we have lived with, and you and I remember. I mean, you specifically remember that, and I
Yeah,
remember hearing about it out here. So there's elements, and then to know that a man like this exists or existed,
hmm
and and to know that there were so many that just to know that there were so many people that followed him and were in love with him, and the status that he had because of what he did and what he was. It's that kind of thing that makes you. There's a certain reality that makes you look at the world and either become frightened or become depressed. I'm not really sure sometimes. I think for me more depressed because I don't get scared that easily. But there is a certain type of fear that kind of thing is encroaching. You know.
right. I mean, that's that's why everyone's fucking super into like Netflix and fucking
Hmm.
true crime and all this crazy shit, and like there's a documentary, like a mini series or whatever the fuck that I saw called The Mortician. I don't know recently. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Never heard of it. This was the first time.
It's a story of this mortician in the 80s who he takes over his family business and he's in charge of the crematorium. And this is in the beginnings of when cremation is becoming popular. And his shit was he started cremating several people at once,
Ooh.
which is a no-no, right?
Yeah.
Because the idea is you cremate one, you give the cremains to the family, and then like that. But he was like, no. He was like, I'm gonna fucking Henry Ford, I'm gonna fucking McDonald's this shit. Like, time is of the essence, time is money. So I'm gonna start. What happens if I put two bodies in there? And then what happens if I put 10 bodies in there at once? And then I just scoop out the the ashes, the cremains, and just give them out. Like, all right, this is grandma, this is fucking your Aunt Sally, this is whatever, and turning them over, making all this money, doing all this shit, hiring fucking drug addicts to fucking do his they were like his Igors, you know?
Yeah.
That's fucking horrible. And that's a different kind of horror because it's real and it's fucking with people at their like the time of their most need of like compassion and to not be preyed upon like that. Again, it's all contextual. That's horrifying. I think there's more leeway in terms of like, obviously, like, what kind of, okay, it's scary. What kind of scary? Is it like supernatural scary? Is it crime scary? Is it bloody? Is it gory? Is it jump scare? Is it this? Versus, is it funny or not? You know what I mean? Like, there's some leeway in terms of like, oh, well, this is very dry humor or it's dark humor or it's, some people are going to be like, oh, no, that's not, I don't think that's funny at all. I think that's really messed up. Okay, but like, that's a value judgment versus just, like breaking down the actual comedy of it. But at the most basic, it's like someone's going to fucking laugh. Like involuntarily, maybe. And that's a lot harder to do because it's kind of like comedy is hard. Comedy is damn hard.
Comedy is very difficult, and I think if you're not committed to the joke, that's where the problem is with comedy. But comedy tends to negate whatever it's up against. Comedy will overpower it because comedy makes you feel safer. Comedy makes you. I think there's a lot more comfort in laughing than there is in being afraid. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
Just laughing itself. A quick scare will oftentimes be followed by like hysterical laughter. You can't believe you were as scared. You can't believe that you lost it like that. Now you're laughing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
We talked about Misery a couple of months back, maybe last year at this time. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But I remember being like, wow, this is a scary, scary lady. And Kathy Bates was committed to that. I think that's, I think the idea here with Loggia, as committed as he is to the performance and the character, I think with a better, I think I can't say a better director. I could say a different director for this material would have suited him so much better, and it would have made for a better film overall. And you know, maybe a Scorsese would have been good. You know who would have been good? Brian De Palma.
Oh yeah.
Brian De Palma's got a really sick fucking sense of humor. He could have worked. This could have worked with him.
Yeah, Brian De Palma would have added more to that sex scene.
Mm-hmm. She wouldn't have broken out of those cops, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can. Yeah, there's a lot of things that vampires do that would have been in this movie, you know?
Yeah.
There would be scenes where them chasing Robert Loggia down the stairs. More Hitchcockian elements. That's a really interesting. Yeah, had it been Brian De Palma, I think it would have gotten to more psychological elements.
Yeah.
Who would you put instead of La Paglia? Who would you cast?
Oh my God. Well, it would have to be an Italian-American actor. And with that, well...
Or someone who could...
at least conceivably play, or convincingly play.
Like Victor Argo plays...
Yeah. Victor, Puerto Rican actor who can play,
What about, what's his name? From Godfather 3.
Garcia?
Yeah, Andy Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia could pull it off. And Garcia has a commitment to it. And he could also play comedy, because I don't know if you've seen it, but he has a moment in the Girl Ghostbusters movie. He's very funny in it. He plays the mayor of New York. And he has a moment where they compare him to the mayor of... they compare him to the mayor in Jaws, and he fucking loses it. It's a really funny scene. Nice. Don't you fucking call me the fucking mayor of Jaws.
Nice.
I got a good laugh at it. I don't think anybody else in the theater got it like I did. But I had fun with that. He could do it. Who else though? I don't know. Vigo could do it.
Well, yeah, Vigo could have done it. Yeah, Vigo could have done it.
But I've never seen Vigo do comedy. So I don't know. I mean, but I think he could shift into it easily. You know, just an offbeat type of casting. I'd like to see Steve Buscemi do it.
That would have been fucking interesting because that's real offbeat.
Mm-hmm.
That would lean more into the comedy of it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you take he's playing a straight character. Like, you want to talk about a great performance? Watch the Coen Brothers Fargo, and tell me that Steve Buscemi doesn't deliver a masterclass. I mean, he's very funny in it, but he's very naturally funny. It doesn't look like he's going for jokes. He's not trying to make a funny character. He's playing a character that's naturally funny. And the ridiculousness of the situation. Like Fargo. Fargo is a film that you're laughing your ass off, while at the same time, kind of like, there are moments where you got to step back and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm laughing at this shit.
Yeah.
He's putting somebody through a fucking wood chipper right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that poor woman who's running through the yard in the snow with a bag on her head, scared out of her fucking mind. I'm screaming in the theater, and a lot of people are too. But the reality of it is, imagine the terror. You shouldn't be laughing at that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
What about Nicolas Cage?
I've said it once and I'll say it again. I've seen Nicolas Cage do bad movies. I've never seen Nicolas Cage be bad in a movie. He just has something that can elevate it, and I think he could. But I think if he were to do this film, he'd be pissed off because he wasn't playing the mafioso or the vampire. I think it's too. I think it would be too normal a character for Cage. He would have to wild it up, and I'm not exactly sure if that's what's necessary for the film or for this particular story. But yeah, Cage would at least do something interesting with it. I can't currently anybody of that time that could have done it. Vigo. What about Gary Oldman?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Gary Oldman could do anything, but I don't know if he'd be right for the part. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I think just on a stereotypical casting level, I think Andy Garcia is good for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something, because he's technically, like, you could say he's like the same, similar type to Anthony Napoleon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, just something like that, like, just at its most superficial. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now we're fucking with the casting, we're fucking with the director, we're fucking with this, and it's like, okay, what if Paul Schrader would have written it? What if you know what I mean?
I was thinking about that. Yeah, but it's exactly what you're saying. Is that now you change the film and you're making a different film. You're fixing a film that. I don't know if you have the right to do that. I mean, you have the right to wish it were a better film. We can wish upon our star and see what the fuck happens. So I don't apologize for that, but at the same time, it's like living in these alternative cinematic universes. The what ifs of if this person had gotten this job instead of this person. If the studio had allowed for this person to be cast, what would it mean? You know, it'd be interesting.
Or fucking John Turturro, dude.
There's nothing John Turturro cannot do, as far as I'm concerned. Turturro is one of those guys that, I would love to see what a John Turturro could do in this film. I mean, which says something. It says that the concept here and the elements in this film are ripe for a better movie. So just the very idea that we're sitting here going, well, they could have done this, or they could have... A lot of times we watch a movie and we're like, oh, that just fucking sucked. It just didn't work. But we don't have recommendations on how to fix it necessarily. We like this idea. We think that this idea here, this melding of genres, it has legs. It could go somewhere with a better idea of the destination. I think, and I think that's the problem with Landis as a director, and it's always been Landis. And I can't believe I'm saying this, and you knowing me the way you know me will understand. Sometimes you can't go for the joke.
You can't what?
Sometimes you can't go for the joke. It can't be just the joke. If the joke doesn't serve the story, and if it's too broad, or if it takes you out, I don't give a shit how good the laugh is. It doesn't fit, and it anchors it. Now it just drags your film down. And I think that's Landis's biggest problem when he's not working in those broad types of comedies, those ridiculous... I mean, all of those films. Blues Brothers, ridiculous. Animal House, incredibly ridiculous. Trading Places, Coming to America. The very nature of the story gives you... Those stories gives you license to just kind of go wild And but also when you have talent like Aykroyd or Belushi or Eddie Murphy, especially Eddie Murphy, you can sell a lot of things. You can sell these characters that wouldn't be possible in other films. I mean, a lot of it is the talent that you have. Do you have an actor or an actress? Or do you have somebody who can pull this shit off? Who's, number one, brave enough to take the chances that are needed, and somebody who is willing to do that to make themselves look foolish on screen.
Like fucking Mickey Rourke in Animal Factory.
Yeah.
And that fucking has some funny ass moments. and it's all related to fucking prison and fucking prison rape and fucking like, and you're going like, haha, you know, like not funny. And you're like, oh yes it is, motherfucker. Like, it's funny.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke is fucking brilliant in that film.
It's a testament to how worthless the Academy Awards are when you know that Mickey Rourke wasn't even nominated for that film.
It's also the subject matter, and but
it says that for me, the fact that Mickey Rourke is not recognized, that's one of the great performances. That's one of his great performances.
Yeah.
And he's got so little screen time, but it's not the screen time, it's what the fuck you do with it. And Mickey Rourke owns every second that he's on screen. You could say whatever you want about his personal life, about how he fucked up his face and how he walked away and pissed off a lot of Hollywood. But when Mickey Rourke is on camera, when he's in the service of a story, especially a story that is well written with a good director, Mickey Rourke makes you forget all of the bullshit.
Yeah, and he loves his chihuahuas.
He does.
He fucking loves those dogs. He loves them.
Those fucking rats.
Yeah, I mean, when Mickey Rourke say, "Now come down here and eat my pussy," like, that's gold.
You're not gonna find better.
It's fucking gold.
Yeah.
It made me jump around in my head from Buffalo 66.
Yeah.
Is a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny as fuck.
I don't know if it's intended to be.
I think it is. I mean, how can you not fucking? How can you say it's not intended?
This is the thing. I find myself sometimes saying things that are so fucking absurd that I don't understand how people don't see that it was a joke. And Buffalo 66 is so fucking absurd. How do you not recognize it as a joke? But Gallo in interviews is so fucking crazy and serious that I don't know if he realizes he's making a comedy. That's why I don't know if it's funny.
I know that Houston was like, we're making a comedy. Ben Gazzara, like, that's another one. Had it been Ben Gazzara as the instead of
Loggia?
Instead of Loggia, had it been Ben Gazzara and John Turturro, I think it would have been probably like more subtle, more cerebral, maybe. But still slimy, and still fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, the possibilities are endless. Again, it goes to the premise. There's fertile soil there.
Yeah. I wouldn't give up on this idea. I wouldn't pass on this idea. I think it's a great idea. I just don't necessarily like the execution here. And the execution, the problem is a director that I don't think fits. You notice I don't say a director that I don't like. I actually like this director. I just don't like him for this. I think it's sad to say, but I kind of think John Landis is a one-trick pony.
He's what?
I kind of think that John Landis is a one-trick pony. I think he can do one thing. He can do broad, ridiculous comedy. He can do no joke. No joke is beneath him. And that's where he excels. There's a lot of shit in Animal House that is way over the top. The Blues Brothers is ridiculous. Coming to America has moments that I'm just like, Trading Places. Trading Places is a brilliant little film that I don't think a lot of people give it enough credit for what it is. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, but within that sphere of work, he can do no wrong. You take him outside of it, it doesn't work as well. I'd be interested in the Ben Gazzara, John Turturro, Brian De Palma, Innocent Blood. That'd be an interesting film.
It would. It would. I would. She already played a vampire in The Hunger, but what's her name from
Catherine
the funeral?
Deneuve or Susan Sarandon?
No. That's from The Hunger. I'm talking about the addiction.
Oh, Liv Tyler.
No, not Liv Tyler.
Oh, Annabelle Sciorra?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think it would be interesting having her as the Marie character.
She's good.
Yeah.
She got caught up in that Weinstein bullshit, so her career never really took off the way it should have. But she was beautiful, sexy, funny. She had she was captivating. She was very good in Jungle Fever. The movie is all over the fucking place, but that's a movie that we should talk about at some point, because that's great performances in a film that has no fucking idea what the hell it wants to be.
Right. I mean, yeah. Yeah, she had for sure. There was a period. This is the 90s, man.
Yeah.
This is that time.
Yeah.
So this one more miss than hit.
Yeah, but it has elements that, you know what? If you don't got anything else better to watch, this has parts that'll make you laugh. Loggia's a lot of fun, and you get to play the what if game. And sometimes the what if game is worth it, I think.
Yeah. If you're in your 10th year, you're doing a podcast, and you're like, we're running out of fucking vampire movies, asshole. Let's throw in a comedy. This is going to be one of the ones that you're going to throw in, and then you're going to fucking see where we sit. Obviously, we'll get to the others eventually. We'll do the fucking Eddie Murphy. We'll do the fucking Leslie Nielsen. We'll do the fucking Once Bitten Jim Carrey shit. We'll get to all of that in time. And there are still obviously vampire films being made. Are they good? Are they fucking like worth it? That's a different question. We'll get to them. We'll sit in it. We'll enjoy. buymeacoffee.com/watchRickRamos. buymeacoffee.com/watchRickRamos. This one goes to Slim Slim. Thanks for what you do. Keep on keeping on. Goodbye.